Good morning, everybody. This morning, after my coffee, we're going to start planting some beans, and I'm going to put in cucumber plants as well. Well, I'm going to plant the seeds. So today we're going to plant beans, and we're going to put the cucumbers in, hopefully. So we're going to go down here to the garden. I'm going to show you where I'll be planting and all the equipment I'll be using today. Okay, here we are down at the garden. I've got my wheel hoe set up down here in the garden. We're going to cultivate the rows. I'm gonna cultivate 3 rows just in case if I have enough time today. I'll put my pepper plants in as well. I don't know if we'll have enough time because I got a lot of stuff to do on these 2 rows with trellising and putting up hoops and bird netting. So I don't know how long all that's going to take. But anyway, we're going to at least do the beans today, bush beans, and we're going to put in a row of cucumbers. But where I'm going to put the beans is where you see the wheel hoe right now. I'm going to put 2 rows of beans in there and drip tape with hoops and bird netting. Next to it, the next one, the next row over, that's where I'm planning to put the cucumbers. So we'll cultivate it, put drip line in, trellis. We'll put all the trellising in, and we'll net the bottom of it, bird net the bottom so the squirrels don't dig up the seeds. But that's the plan for today, the 2 rows here. But anyway, down here's the different pieces of equipment I'll be using. That PVC pipe back there, that's what I'll use to drop the seeds in the furrows. I got 2 different colors of line so I can make my rows nice and straight on my planting of my seeds, and then making a furrow for the drip line. I'm going to use that. But that's what I've got going on right now. We'll set up to do some cultivating, breaking up that soil, and getting ready to plant some beans. Okay, I have lines set up to do the furrows to lay the drip. I work on 30-inch wide beds, and I went ahead and set a line, 2 lines, the length of the bed. I placed the line 6 inches on each side, in on the outer edge of the bed. So from 30, I moved it in 6 inches on both sides. And I'm going to use that line so I can keep my drip tape straight all the way down the garden. And over here on my hoe, I went ahead and set up the plows so I can do the furrows down the garden here. I'll show you how that looks here in a second. Okay, that's the furrow for the drip. I'm going to come down the other side, and then we'll put our drip in and bury it. And there's the furrows. Now I'll just take up my, well, actually I'm gonna leave the line I'm gonna go get the drip and we'll set the drip in. Okay, I've got my two drip lines set basically in the furrow. All I have to do now is punch holes into the header line to attach these two. I'll show you how I do that here. What I use is this here. It's just a tool that has an end on it that you punch the tubing with, make a hole, and you just push this right into the hole, and it seals. Like I said, it's just a little punch tool. You want to make sure you keep this end out of the dirt. You don't want no debris getting plugging up your injectors. So wherever I put my line, that's where I'm going to punch my hole. And you just take the end, whoops, and simply push it in. Now when you put these drip lines underground, make sure the emitters are facing up. And how you know that real easy is it's marked. It's a different color. It could be yellow or white, whatever drip tape you use. The other side's just black. So you know the side that has the emitters it's marked. And the emitters here are marked about every 12 inches. So mark one. Let's do one more. Well, get on this side. There we go. Make sure the emitters are facing up. And then it's just a matter of covering them up with my rake. After I covered the drip tape, I just pulled the line up so I know exactly where my drip tape is so I know where to put my seeds. Okay. With my garden, the way it slopes and stuff, I have low spots, high spots, so it's kind of hard to keep it completely flat. So the low spots that I saw, what really made it come out was when I put the drip tape down, it wasn't consistently at the same depth. So I had to add some topsoil to different areas. Here at the front, at the start of the garden, and then at the end. So I added a couple bags of topsoil. But other than that, it looks decent. It looks pretty good. Next thing I need to do now is just cut a couple furrows to put beans, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to make a furrow to put the bean seeds down. Now I'm going to use the line for the drip to guide me as I make my furrow for the beans. Now for the beans, you don't have to really push down on this furrow. You just need a light
light push down, just enough, about a ½ inch into the soil to get your furrow to put your seed. So, and what I'm doing, I'm about maybe 2 to 3 inches off of the string. Like that. And there's the furrows, and now we just need to put the seed down. Okay, now we're going to put the bush beans in. What I'm using is the HOSS seeds. These are the contender bush seed. I'm going to put these in about 4 inches apart. I'm going to make 2 rows of them. I'm going to put them in really thick. Hopefully I get a lot of beans, and we'll see how this works out. But I'm going to show you how I put these in the garden without actually bending over and getting on the ground. I don't have a planter, so I have to do it by hand. So I'm going to show you how I do the bush beans. Okay, this is how I plant my seeds, so I don't have to get on the ground. I just use a ½ inch piece of PVC, and I just take a seed out and drop it through the tube, space them how I want them spaced. The only thing that I would say about doing something like this is don't put it straight down, because you're going to plug the end with dirt, and you're going to miss a lot of seeds. They're going to get all plugged up in the tube. So what you need to do is you need to hold the tube like off to the side a little bit so the end of the tube doesn't plug up. So what I'll do is I'll just take some seeds, put some in my hand. It's not a perfect science. Drop a seed, whatever looks like 4 inches, drop a seed right in the furrow. And that's how I do it. And I just go on down the row. There's no bending over. Look. Straining your back. And I'll plant these alongside the, every once in a while just knock the end of the tube, because it's real loose soil. You'll still get some in there. You'll have to knock it out. And this is how I do it. I'll go down and back. Then at the end, I'll just use my yard rake and I'll cover them up, tamp them in, and that's how I'll do it. I'll go ahead and I'll stop. I don't think you want to see me do this the whole time. So when I finish up, we'll rake it and tamp it in, and you can see how that goes. Okay, we've got all the bush beans planted. Now we just need to rake the soil over and tamp it in. I'll just do a light raking of the soil over the beans. Okay, we got it raked over, but I'm gonna put some more topsoil over there where that drip line did not get covered well. just take the rake and we'll just go down the row like this and come back. And there we are, we're planted.
Okay, for our next row to plant, it's going to be the cucumber. I'm simply just going to take my wheel hoe with the furrow, make me a furrow all the way down the center of this row, put the drip tape in there and cover it up, and then we'll plant right on top of that drip tape. I'll show you how that goes here in a second. All right, there's the furrow for the drip tape. This time I really got after it. I put the plow in there deep. That way I don't have to get more soil to cover the drip tape. Okay, drip tape's in, and yes, that worked a whole lot better. So if you use your wheel hoe and you're gonna make that furrow, really push down on the back of it and get you a good trench. It'll work way better. The tape is in there good. So I'm pleased with that. So all I gotta do now is cover that drip tape and we'll plant some cucumber seeds.
All right, let's cover some drip tape. Yeah, this works way better. I'm pleased with that. Yeah, from now on, when I do make my furrows for the drip tape, really push down on the back of it and get some real good depth. And it lays in there really good. It's not going to move around. Okay, drip tape's covered. Now we just got to plant some seeds. I'm going to drop a line so I know where to plant my seeds. I think I'm gonna put my trellising on this side since the sun comes from my left to the right. So I'll put the trellising on the back side and the plants, seeds in the front. That way they get some more sun. That's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna go ahead and set up my line so I know where to put the seeds without hitting the drip tape. I know it's 15 inches on center between these stake posts, so I'll set up a line and then I'll plant to this side of it. But I'll do that now and we'll get back to planting some seeds. Okay, I laid my line on where I'm going to plant my seeds. I decided to plant them 2 inches on this side of the drip line because they get real bushy when they grow. So I'm going to give them more room on this side and put the trellising farther this way. It gives them some time, gives them some space to, because they take up some room this way. And my paths are only 12 inches wide. I'll be stepping on the plants. So I went ahead and moved it a little bit more this way. So I'm going to plant this side of it 2 inches, got my line, and then I'll put my trellising further this way. But instead of using my wheel hoe to make that furrow, I'm going to use into this PVC. It does better. It's not making such it's more control. So I'm going to make this little furrow. This piece of PVC, it works a lot better for this application. Multi-use tool, a planter and a furrow maker. But I'll just follow this line down. Okay, this looks great. So now what I'll do is I'll go get the seeds and we'll put those in the ground. Okay, today we're going to be planting some cucumbers, like I said, in this row. What I'm going to plant is the Calypso cucumber. This is a seed that HOSS Tools puts out. It's a pickling cucumber. I'm going to plant this in this narrow furrow. I'm going to plant this thick as well. So, and of course I'm going to use the conduit. And we'll plant this row and then we'll rake it over, tamp it in. But it's the same way you do the beans. You just get you some seed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dropping seed. Don't want cucumbers growing where I don't want them. I wish I'd have planted these about 2 weeks ago, but we'll see how this does. But basically this is all you do. You just go on down. I guess I'll keep the video rolling so you can see me do it a little bit. See, I'm resting it against my side just so I can use both hands. Make sure that dirt's off the end. The seeds are smaller, so it's harder to see if you actually have planted it or not. So make sure you check the end, make sure it's not plugged up. Lay your conduit right where you stop so you don't forget. That's where I planted the last seed. I'm raking from the side with the drip tape. I don't want to rake from the drip side. I want to rake from the other side. I don't want to uncover my drip. So you want to rake down this side, cover your seeds. See right here, I'm going to add another bag of topsoil. It's a little low. And take up my center line. Okay, now we set our trellising posts. These are probably 7 foot tall. The soil should be pretty soft. Now I'm gonna go as far over this way as I can. Step on it. And there's one post. We'll just continue going down. That one's real crooked. I'm gonna try to straighten it up. See how it looks. That's better. It don't have to be perfect, but I like it to look nice. And that's it, setting posts. That's why it's good not to walk on your garden, your beds. Keeps the soil doesn't get compacted. That's why I like the 30-inch rows, because I can step over them, I can do whatever I want. I learned that on YouTube, 30-inch rows. Trellis things up. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a wire to run across the top, which is a clothesline wire. You can get those at Lowe's. That's where I got mine. I'll show you how that goes here in a minute. I'm gonna put that up. You'll need that for the netting, because the plants, they get heavy, the fruit gets heavy. If you don't have anything over the top, it'll fall. But that's the post, and now I'm gonna get the cable and the netting. Okay, here's the clothesline that I'll be using. Like I said, I got from Lowe's. It's clothesline. It's wired, it's plastic coated. I've used this probably 3 years. I don't know what you call this here on the end, but I tightened it up, and what it does, prevents it from going through the hole on the post. Maybe you guys, I'll just show it to you what I'm talking about. That's my knot. And what I'll do is I'll put the other end, I'll start it through the post. Okay, let me show you how I start this. There's a hole right at the top of your post, and I just take the end of the line and run it through. Like that. And see that metal piece, my knot, prevents it from going through. And then basically I weave this wire in and out through those posts. Okay, I have the trellis netting up. What I've done is I stretched it out the length of the garden, and I hooked the net on the little hooks there. And now what I'll simply do is I'll run my laundry line through this netting. When I finish that, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I've got my ridge line through the top of the post. All the way down.
And I'll pull on this and make this real nice and tight. And then I'll put another one of those connectors here on the end to make my other knot. And that'll hold my ridge line for my plastic netting. And then what I'll simply do is I'll just zip tie the netting to the top and to the sides to support the cucumbers as they grow. You'll have something to grow on. I'm gonna go ahead and tie off the end of that cable and start zip tying the trellising on the posts, and we'll go over that when I have all that completed. Okay everybody, I have the trellising up for the cucumbers. That's complete. The next thing what I need to do is put up some bird netting around the bottom to keep the squirrels from digging up the seeds, because they will. I've seen them do it. And when the plants come up, the rabbits will move in and want to eat the plants. So I'll keep that bird netting up. But that's the next thing I'm getting ready to do now, is add the bird netting to the bottom. And when I have that bird netting up, I'll film and show you what that looks like completed. I'm going to attach it using wire ties as well. And I'll stake the bottom with those metal I call them yard staples. People use them for their felt. But anyway, let me get after that, and then we'll get back and I'll show you how it looks completed. Okay, bird netting is on the trellis for the cucumbers to keep the squirrels and rabbits out. That took quite a while. You're certainly not going to be able to see the netting, I don't believe, because it's so thin. But it's on the back side and the front of the trellis. I am out of bird netting, so I'm going to have to run to Lowe's and get some more. So I guess I can take a break, because I'll need more bird netting for this row here for the green beans we planted. I'm going to put my hoops up and bird net that as well. Keep the squirrels from digging the seeds out and the rabbits from eating green beans. But that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to run to Lowe's and then I'll be back and finish this project up. Okay everybody, I am done. I'm done with the cucumbers and the green beans. I have all the trellising up, all the hoops up, and also have the bird netting up. So everything's up and it's protected. I'll do you a little tour, let you see see how it looks. The bird netting's pretty fine. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it's on there. And I'm watering right now. So I'm watering everything in right now. But hopefully we'll have a lot of cucumbers and a lot of green beans, because we eat a lot of both of that. We really like eating green beans and cucumbers. But that's everything done for today. And I guess I'll take you over here to the other end of the garden, show you how that stuff is progressing. Potatoes are looking good. The beets are doing really good next to them, growing. Take you all the way down to the end here where the beets are. And then on this side here we got the onion, beets, radish, and carrots. There's a lot. I think I need to come down here and do some more picking. I got some radish that probably could be picked. I need to get in and do some weeding too. That's one of the drawbacks with the bird netting. It takes a lot of effort to get in there and to do some weeding. But if I don't have the bird netting, I won't have a garden. Look at that lettuce. Carrots are doing good in the buckets. Onions are all growing pretty good. I think my next day off, I'm gonna get in here and do some hand weeding. It's gonna have to get down on the ground and get her done. But anyway, tomorrow I go back to work, a 24-hour shift, and I have these 2 rows left. The one on the right, we're gonna put a bunch of peppers in there. A lot of different varieties of peppers, probably 7 or 8 different varieties. And then here we're gonna put a bunch of tomatoes. I'm gonna put them in thick. And then that should be it for that. For that growing space anyway. Then I've got some more tomato plants I need to plant. I don't know if I'm gonna do them in buckets or I'm gonna go ahead and find another place in the yard to put them. But when I come back from work for my next shift, we'll get these 2 rows put in and we'll film that and we'll see how that all looks. But it's coming along, it's looking really good. I'm pleased. Well, that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll get back together again in a few days. Thanks a lot.